Scotty the hottie, can we go? I'm bored.
Mate, I told you once, I'll tell you again, mate. I've got to tell me followers how to get shredded abs, mate. Mate, I guarantee ya, you're not going to guess how I got my abs. I promise you, mate. There is not a chance that you're going to guess this whatsoever, mate. I'll put on 20 green vitamin B tinnies, the green gospel glorious juice that is VB, that you're not going to guess how I got these abs. You know what? You're not going to guess it. So I don't want to take your tinnies. I guarantee you, not a word of a lie, mate. Not a word of a lie. Squats and deads, mate. Squats and deads. That's it. I wouldn't have thought. Today we're looking at the theory that you don't need to train your abs if you do squats and deads, and what better place to start than with a university issued textbook where we're going to look at the functions of the abs and work out what exactly your transverse abdominis does, your rectus abdominis does, your internal external obliques, or in layman's terms, what your six-pack abs do and your love handles do whilst you are doing a squat and a dead. Of the rectus abdominis, lumbar flexion, coming forward. Absolutely not. You're going to keep up nice and tall. Posterior pelvic rotation, hips rolling underneath the spine. No. Lateral weak flexion, absolutely not. Going side to side. No. Actions of the external oblique, lumbar flexion, posterior pelvic rotation, and then a lumbar flexion to the lateral sides. Absolutely not to all three. Lateral pelvic rotation. No. You're not going to rotate your pelvis. Internal oblique, abdomen, lumbar flexion, nope. Posterior pelvic rotation, nope. Lumbar lateral flexion, nope. Lateral pelvic rotation, nope, and nope. There is only one abdomen muscle that actually fits the bill when it comes to doing a squat and a dead, and that is the transverse abdominis, known as your core muscles, and that is, as I quote the action to this, forced expiration by pulling the abdomen wall in, commonly known as stabilizing or switching your core on. Don't be ignorant to the fact that your rectus abdominis, your external obliques and internal obliques will act as a synergist to your transverse abdominis in helping it brace your entire corset or your midsection of your body to protect the spine. Knowing that the abdomens were going to act as a synergist during the squat and the dead, I wanted to know exactly how much trunk activation was occurring and which muscles were taking majority of the load during the squat and the dead. The purpose of this study was to examine the extent of trunk muscle activation during dynamically weighted exercises versus isometric instability exercises. Simply put, holds versus weighted exercises. Dynamic exercises chosen was the squat at 80% of the 1RM, the deadlift at 80% 1RM, and also a bodyweight squat. The isometric instability exercises was a Superman and side bridge. Results indicated that the major trunk muscle activation during the dynamic exercises of the squat and the deadlift was your erector spinae that runs up your back. There was no significant difference between the squat and the deadlift when it came to the activation of your lower abdomen or external oblique. The results also indicated that you gained more trunk muscle activation during the squat and the deadlift than you did compared to the isometric instability exercises. This would lay claim to the fact that then you're better off for trunk muscle activation to train squats and deads than you are to do isometric holds such as Superman's and plank. Another study showed to increase trunk muscle activation through your rectus abdominis and your external obliques, you needed to remove the static load and place on a dynamic load. Simply put, if you are doing a squat, you are to tie the weight plates that you are using to a rubber band, place those rubber bands onto the ends of the barbell, and as you go up and down, the weight plates will move, creating the instability and recruiting more trunk muscle activation. I told ya, mate. I told ya. Now give me green titties. We know that a there is trunk muscle activation during a squat and a dead. But this is just an isometric hold. It's a brace, it's a pause. What the real question is now is, does isometric holds outperform isotonic contractions? That is, the concentric and eccentric phases of lifting and using that muscle through its full functionality. I went ahead and compared isometric holds against isotonic contractions for muscle hypertrophy and strength gains. Not only did I come across 3 independent studies like that, but they all said the same thing, and that was isotonic contractions far outweighed and outperformed isometric holds. The take-home message is this: isotonic contractions will always be isometric holds. We know there is no isotonic contractions in the squat or the dead based upon what the muscle's actual functionality is in that book. So we know that all that is at play is the transverse abdominis, and the rest of the muscles are working as synergists around them to help brace and hold the corset up, right? Help brace the trunk. So we can remove isotonic contractions out of the equation. So let's break down isometric holds. Well, we know that to engage your rectus abdominis and your external obliques a great deal more, you need to add a dynamic load by suspending weight plates underneath your barbell using a rubber band. But the real question there is how many people are actually doing it? Now, I walk through the gym all the time and see no one doing it. So we're going to exclude that factor as well. So now let's break down exactly what's happening during the squat and the dead to your rectus abdominis for it to be actually activated and in a working phase. Well, we know that majority of the load is actually being transferred to the posterior chain up the erector spinae during your squat and your deads. Higher on the deads, lower on the squats. And we also know that there is no vast difference between the squat and the dead when it comes to your abdomen activity. So majority of the load is going to not even your abs, it's going to your lower back during the squat and the dead. We did find out, however, that that the squat and the dead trunk activation outperformed isometric instability holds such as the Superman and the bridge. So when it comes to the chain in which you train your abdominals, it would go your isometric instability holds such as your bridge and your Superman, followed very closely by your big compound lifts such as your squats and your deads for your isometric holds. But we know the best way to train your abs is an isotonic contraction where you do things like weighted crunches. Well, Struth, strike me dead and call me Skippy. But the thing is, if you train your abs, you get a blocky waist, mate. So what's going to happen when we train the abs?